The quietest person in the room is either a genius, a psychopath, or completely dead inside. Let's figure out which one you are. You know that person who sits through an entire dinner party and says maybe 3 words. Yeah, that one. While everyone else is yapping about their weekend plans, they're just there observing, judging, plotting world domination. Or maybe they just forgot how to talk. But here's what most people don't know. Silence isn't just one thing. There are actually 5 psychological types of quiet people, and some of them are way more dangerous than you think. First up, the social chameleon. This person has perfected the art of looking engaged while being mentally checked out. They nod at the right moments, throw in an occasional or totally, and somehow make you feel heard without actually saying anything. It's like conversational jujitsu. They redirect every question back to you. So, what do you think about that? Boom, responsibility dodged. Psychologically, these people aren't shy. They're strategic. They've learned that listening makes people like you more than talking ever could. They're collecting data, reading the room, and honestly, they probably know more about you than you know about yourself. Here's the crazy part. Research shows that people who talk less in groups are often perceived as more trustworthy and competent, even when they contribute nothing. The social chameleon weaponizes this bias. They let you project your own assumptions onto their silence, and you end up thinking they're brilliant without them ever proving it. And here's what nobody tells you. These people are emotional economists. They've calculated that social capital is earned through strategic absence, not constant presence. While everyone else is fighting for airtime, they're sitting back, letting others expose their insecurities and quietly becoming the person everyone trusts without ever having to prove themselves. They've mastered the ancient art of influence with effort, because the less they reveal, the more mysterious and valuable they become. And mystery is the ultimate form of social power. It's low-key terrifying. They're not quiet because they're scared. They're quiet because they're winning. Next, the verbal minimalist. This type treats words like currency. They don't waste them on small talk, gossip, or how's the weather nonsense, but get them talking about philosophy, space, human psychology, or why pineapple on pizza is a war crime, and suddenly they transform into a full-blown TED speaker. These people have what psychologists call selective engagement. They're not antisocial, they're anti-superficial. Their brains literally filter out meaningless chatter. Studies show that people like this often have higher IQs and deeper emotional intelligence. They don't talk to fill silence. They talk to create meaning. What's fascinating is that verbal minimalists often have rich inner worlds. They're constantly thinking, connecting ideas, building mental frameworks. When they finally speak, it's because they've already solved the problem in their head, and now they're just sharing the conclusion. The irony, most people mistake their silence for arrogance or disinterest, when in reality they're just operating on a different frequency. They're waiting for conversations that feed their soul, not just kill time. They've realized that most social interactions are just noise pollution, so they've become selective about where they invest their mental energy. Think of them as conversational vegans. They've cut out all the junk food dialogue and only consume organic, meaningful exchanges, which makes them healthier mentally, but also kind of insufferable at parties. So, if they're speaking to you a lot, congrats. You've been deemed worthy. If not, well, you're probably boring. Let's talk about type 3, the overthinking introvert. Oh, this one. This one hits different. These are the people who want to talk. They genuinely, desperately want to join the conversation. But here's the problem. By the time they have mentally rehearsed exactly what they're going to say, analyzed how it might be received by every single person, considered 3 alternative, better phrasings, and evaluated the social risk of the entire operation, the conversation has completely moved on, so they just stay quiet. It's not a lack of things to say. It's the opposite. It's having too much to say, and their brain just won't let them pick one thing to launch. Psychologically, this is a classic case of analysis paralysis. Their internal dialogue is a roaring stadium, far louder than any external conversation. They're not ignoring you, they're drowning in their own thoughts. And the brutal truth, these people often hold the most insightful, brilliant perspectives in the entire room. But their own perfectionism kills their voice before it ever reaches their mouth. They would rather say nothing at all than say something imperfect, which means the rest of us, the entire world, misses out on their brilliance because they're too busy editing themselves in real time. And honestly, that is exhausting. If you know someone like this, be patient. Give them a moment. Their silence isn't rejection, it's just traffic. Now for type 4, and this is where it gets spicy, the quiet manipulator. This person doesn't talk much, but when they do, every single word is calculated. They've been watching, they've been waiting, and now they know the exact thing to say to get exactly what they want. They use silence as a weapon. Have you ever been in an argument where the other person just stares at you without responding? Yeah, that's not them being stunned. That's psychological warfare. Studies in high-stakes negotiation show that silence creates a vacuum of discomfort, and that discomfort makes people talk more, reveal more, and concede more. These people aren't loud because they don't need to be. They've mastered the power of presence. FBI interrogators use this exact technique. They go completely silent and let suspects fill the void, often with confessions. The quiet manipulator does the same thing in everyday life, except instead of solving crimes, they're getting promotions, they're winning arguments, and they're making you think that brilliant idea was yours all along. They let you fill their silence with your own assumptions, your own insecurities, your own mistakes, and then they strike. You have to respect the game, but also maybe don't trust them with your secrets. And finally, type 5, the enlightened observer. This is the rarest of them all. They are quiet not because they are scared or strategic or overthinking. They are quiet because they have transcended the desperate human need for constant validation. They don't have to prove they're smart or funny or interesting. They just exist fully. Psychologically, this is what happens when secure attachment meets high emotional regulation. They are comfortable in silence because they are fundamentally comfortable with themselves. And when they do speak, people lean in. People listen, not because they demand attention, but because their words carry an undeniable weight. What separates them from everyone else is this: they have done the internal work. They face their demons, they've processed their trauma, and they have arrived at a place of genuine peace. So they don't need external noise to drown out any internal chaos. Their silence isn't a strategy, it's not a defense mechanism, it is a direct reflection of inner clarity. They have that calm, grounded energy that makes everyone else feel like they're screaming into the void. If you meet one of these people, hold on to them. They're rare and they are probably the healthiest person in the room. So the next time you meet someone who doesn't talk much, don't just assume they're shy or rude or boring. They might be reading you like a book, protecting their energy, or just operating on a completely different frequency. Silence isn't empty. It is full of things most people are too loud to hear. Which type are you? Drop a comment. And if you think there's a sixth type I missed, tell me. I'm listening. Well, reading, you know what I mean. Hit subscribe if your brain enjoyed this. We dive deep like this every single week. Like the video so YouTube stops hiding us. Stay curious, stay quiet, or don't. I am not you, boss.